What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Welcome to Next Round. I'm Anthony. Thanks a lot for rocking with me again. And thank you for being here as always, y'all. We're going to get straight up into this. And I want you to know, like, the most dangerous version of a man, one of them, is that man who's out there. He is grown on the outside, got the beard, got the size, got everything. However, there's that little boy within who's still crying. That little boy who's still looking for healing. We're going to be talking about that boy inside the man, and this is going to be a little of a hard hitter. I know some of you will relate to this. Some of you, if you're young, you're not there yet. Some of you may be, depending on how you grew up, depending on what your life was like when you was growing up. But that little boy on the inside who's still crying, that little boy on the inside who is still hurt. So we're going to be talking about that, man. And I'm telling you, I myself had to deal with that little boy. And yeah, it was hard to deal with, but it had to be done. So we're going to talk about that, man. And we're talking about, again, the boy inside of the man. And some of y'all may think about those men out there. Again, you got the guy who is successful. He has everything that he wants, he needs. He has the good job. He has the good salary. He has the family. He has the 2.5 kids. The dog named Sparky. The cat named Fluffy. And the fish named Bubbles. And got the white picket fence around to surround. And got the couple of whips in the driveway. Great. 2-3 cars. And he's looking good. But it's at night when he cries. It's at night when he gets frustrated. And oftentimes it happens when you least expect it. Something triggers him. Something gets him, and he loses his mind over the smallest things. Or sometimes may not be so small, just something that just reminds him of his past. And we're going to dive into that, man. And look, every man has it. Every man has those two versions inside of him, right? He has the one that he shows the world. And then he has that boy who's still trying to hide, or that boy who's want to come out a little. But the problem is that the boy is always going to leak through. No matter how much that man who has everything, he has the degrees, he has the house, the car, the family, and all that stuff. He got the women at him. He got his DMs flooding over, that his cup overflows with DMs. But however, that little boy is still leaking through in so many instances. Just think about it, where you will see a brother out there, you see a man, and he's at the spot at a gym or on his job, and somebody makes a small joke with him, and he just takes it, not offensive, like, you're looking small there, man. And he takes it wrong, and then he goes off. Been around those type of guys. At work, you may see that dude who just snaps off on people for no particular reason. You got that question like, yo, what is this dude's problem? But what we don't know is that there's a little boy within that he was running away from. He hid for so long. Now, that little boy has dealt with several things. The little boy probably dealt with sexual trauma. He had the sexual trauma that he buried, that he didn't think no one would believe him. So he never said anything about it. Maybe you was that guy at the age of 6, at the age of 5, at the age of 17, whatever time that was, right? You had family trauma where the house, it looked stable. Mom and dad, or you got single parent, whatever it is, and it looks good on the outside, as I said, but it's chaos within. You go in, people saying, man, your friends telling you, man, I wish I had your family. I wish I had your life, that you got both parents in the home. I wish I had that. But you cannot tell them, hey, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Some of you did say that, but your friends like, wait, what? What you mean? But you can't go into deep detail because they're not going to get it. They're not going to know that your parents throw down every night. It's like WWF, WWE in there. They're not going to know that your pops was an alcoholic or a drug addict. They're not going to know that your mother was the one who was crying and you had to protect her at times. Or you had the other way around with mom. Mom was the one who will cut you down. right? She had that sharp tongue that will just destroy you, destroy your dream, destroy who you are, destroy your spirit, because that's just how she was. Some of you had the little boy where his father, absentee father's present in the home. However, he's not present in other areas. The relationship is absent. Pop comes in, barely says 2 words to you. He'll say, "You all right?" That's it. Or he just says, "You did the homework," or he just blows up for no reason. But other than that, that's as far as it goes. As I said, you may have had that mother who had that sharp tongue that cut deeper and hit harder than any fist will ever do in life. But some of you also had a childhood where you were also crying. You cried, you were mocked for it, you were silenced for being ignored. You were silenced because it got you ignored, right? Or speaking up got you in a lot of trouble, it got you punished for it. But then there's some of you who also got bullied. You had to deal with the bullies back in school. I don't know if you maybe had it in elementary school, junior high school, or you just had bullies on the block. When you come home, you had to deal with these guys coming at you all the time. Some of you may have got guys and girls, right? Because, if you hit a girl, the fellas, they will go ahead and wait for you like, "Oh, you see you hit a girl," but it's like, "Wait, she hit me. I'm just supposed to sit here and let it be." But then they jump you, and now you got the other part where if you try to hit the girl now, she knows that you got 5, 6 guys waiting to thump you. And I've been around those guys before. I've seen that in junior high particularly before, where that was not a good look. But for those of you who had to deal with this, now you're a grown man and you're paying adult consequences for childhood wounds. You're paying for it. The boy who never felt safe becomes the man who never trusts. The boy who was violated becomes the man who disassociates. The boy who felt invisible now becomes the man who just seeks validation just to breathe. Just like y'all quick to say, "Oh yeah, these women, they love validation. Validation is currency." Oh, there's a lot of men who are moving like that too. They move just like that. So there's not only women. Also, you have the boy who learned to survive, but became the man who never learned to live. That's all he was in, survival mode. Everything, all his life, he had to fight. Everything was survival mode. Every little thing, if he saw extras, he just stockpile on it. And it's like, bro, we got this is for y'all. You got seconds for you. You got thirds for you. You don't got a stockpile, but that's all he knows, survive. Or as I said, he was the one who took things serious. He just took things as an offense because all he knew was survival. That's all he knew. And here's the crazy part about it, man. You don't have to act like a child to be controlled by one. You don't have to act like a child to be controlled by a child. All it takes is a trigger. All it takes is your past to take the wheel. That's all it takes. When you get triggered, your past ends up taking the wheel. And you may wonder, like, I don't know why I blow up and I snap off on people like this, because the inner child, that little boy who needed attention, has taken the wheel. Now, you may have been the guy at 12 years old. Your cousins assaulted you. You may have got that. Maybe 6 years old, 7 years old. Your cousins assaulted you. 14, you got jumped. You had a whole week where you didn't know what was going to happen. You had probably Tuesday. You knew the days. Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. These guys would just come after me. You thought that being silent would just make them pass over you. Or at 16, 17, your pops called you weak just for crying. You lost a game. Or you took a hard thump on the ground, whatever it was. Or you had some grades you thought that you was going to pass and you didn't get there. And you like, man, I thought I was going to get this. And your pops called you soft and called you whatever. Your uncles called you that. Your cousins called you that. They called you weak for crying. And you know what the crazy thing is, fellas? A lot of you aren't angry. You're unhealed. A lot of you are not broken. You're burdened. A lot of you are not cold. You're numb. Because how many times do people say, "Hey, I'm here for you," and they never were there for you? They barely talk to you. They barely ask you questions. They barely ask how you doing. Nobody said anything to you. And you know the crazy part, gentlemen, is that the world just keeps saying, that's just how men are. That's how men are. But really, what they don't understand, because many of us have been ignored, because we've been taught not to cry, not to show emotions and everything. So we've been ignored. Those things have been ignored. We ignore them. And then what happens is, while the world is telling us that's just how you men are, what it really is that there's a boy screaming inside that grown man. There's a boy who's screaming inside that grown man. And you can build a strong man on top of the wounded boy. It's easy. As I said, get the degrees, you go to the military, you know how to do things in the military. You now ambidextrous with your body. You know how to do certain things. You pick up certain skills. You got all this stuff. You go and get married. If you get married, you get a family. You got all these things and money in the bank and everything. Great. But here's the thing. You can't fake it. You can't mask it. Because, again, it's going to all come out. You can get muscles, you can get money, you can get success, you can get the followers, but that little boy within, that boy who was touched, who was mocked, who was abandoned, who was ignored, who was humiliated in front of people, he does not go away. Remember, he's constantly trying to leak out. He's constantly trying to leak out. And when does he leak out? He leaks out in your anger. He leaks out in your silence. He leaks out in your addictions. Because why? Why do I say they leak out? Because in your anger, in your silence, in your addictions, you hide the little boy. When that little boy tries to come out, your anger. Go back in. I'm gonna let these people know they ain't gonna do this like what they did to me when I was 13, 12, 11, 10, when they bullied me. We ain't doing that again. I guarantee you it ain't gonna happen again. Or that little boy tries to come out, silence. Because you knew last time you did speak up about it, people said, shut up. Don't talk up. What? Who you talking about? You talking about so-and-so? You talking about Miss so-and-so, Mr. so-and-so? You don't make up lies like that. When that little boy tries to come out because he was traumatized, the addictions kick in. You put him away with addictions. You also hide that little boy with the women that you chase, and you don't keep them. You don't keep them. It's fun to chase them, but you can never keep a solid relationship. Go back and look at your life. How many solid relationships have you been in? That same boy, you hide in the way that you shut down when someone gets close to you. Remember what I gave it to you earlier, when you disassociate yourself. So that little boy, you hide him away by shutting down when people get close to you. That boy becomes a trigger. That boy becomes a trigger that becomes the explosion for the man. And every man in his life has a chapter he tries to avoid. He tries to avoid opening it because it feels like he's going to open wounds, or it feels like he's dying. But avoiding it will only kill you. It is slowly killing you every time you avoid it. You cannot outrun what shapes you. You can't outrun that. It shaped you. But you at where you are now, you can face it, name it, and heal it. It's possible. It is more than possible if you're willing to take the step to heal that little boy, to heal from the things that once traumatized you, to heal from the things that your mother said about you, to heal from the things that your father did to you. But if you don't want to heal that boy, here's the thing. That unhealed boy inside of you, he isn't harmless. He ruins relationships. He sabotages opportunities. Again, the guy who want to blow up on people, you probably blew up on a person who could have given you a raise. That person can give you a promotion. That relationship was right there. You messed that up. The little boy also destroys confidence. That's why you're so quiet. That's why you don't want to speak up on things. That unhealed boy wrecks your peace. That's why you got to constantly do something. That's why you got to constantly take something. And if you don't confront that little boy, again, you're dying. You're slowly dying. That man is being killed by that boy easily. that man you're trying to become is killed by the boy. But healing isn't soft. I don't care what is being said. Healing isn't soft. It is not about therapy talk or anything. It's not weakness. Healing is the most masculine thing a man can do. It's choosing not to let a wounded child run your adult life. How long have you been letting that wounded child run your adult life? Remember what I said is the triggers that made that child take over the wheel. How long are you going to make this child take over your life? So here's what I need you to do, fellas. I need you to stop normalizing what hurts you. Again, this is where we're in a world that have been telling us, oh, that's just how men are. Yeah, that, when they like that, men are just angry to be angry. And it sounds normal, but that's not how it's supposed to be. So you got to stop normalizing what hurts you. Oh, stop saying it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Oh, I turned out fine. I went through this. I went through that. Look, I turned out okay. Or I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with all that. And listen, fellas, these are not coping mechanisms. These are chains. These are chains. Every time you say it's not a big deal, clink. Every time you say I turned out fine, clink. Every time you say I don't want to talk about it, or you say, man, what you talking about? Man, that was a long time ago. Clink, clink. It's putting you in the clink. And here's the thing. You want to get your story out of the dark. Whether you speak to a therapist, whether you speak to a mentor, a pastor, you journal it, whatever, letting the wounds breathe is how it stops festering. You got to let it out to somebody. Because we are seeing too many men where it takes a cell to finally let them deal with the little boy. And oftentimes, that little boy don't get dealt with because they got to stay in survival mode. So I want you guys out there to forgive the boy, release the man. Forgive the boy, release the man. I had to do that. I think earlier this year or last year, I had to do that. Go back to some stuff from my past that I never wanted to go back to. A very dark time in my past. And I had to forgive. Forgive those people. I don't know what they look like now. I don't know who they are. I don't know where they are right now. But I had to forgive them. I stayed with vengeance. And some of you are like that right now. To this very day, you still hold vengeance. You like, man, if I only see so-and-so, man, I will take them out. If I only see so-and-so, I will beat them till they can't breathe. That's how you're moving right now. Something that was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, some 40 years ago, you have not moved on from it. You have not forgiven that. So you're not weak for what happened. You're not weak for that. Because you were born into that. You just were this kid who was just going to school. You was a kid who lived in your neighborhood. You was just trying to be a kid and somebody just took advantage. But you're not weak for that. You're not weak for what happened to you. You're not broken. You're not doomed. But you are responsible for who you become next. You are responsible for that. And if you choose to take that responsibility and become a better person by first healing and next forgiving, we got something. But if you choose not to forgive, you choose not to heal, listen, you're going to just stay with those chains. And also with those chains, that little boy is going to take a car and drive it. You ever seen a child drive a car? You've seen those news stories when the kid takes the car out the driveway. What do? They don't know no better. They just see what they saw. Their parents or the grown-ups do. I'm just going to drive the car. They can barely see over the steering wheel, if that. And they're just going to drive. Their feet can barely touch the gas pedal, but they're just going to hit it. They don't know the brakes or anything. It's fun. So that's why a lot of you in your 20s, in your 30s, you are making wrong moves. You just doing things for fun because, bro, it's just, man, you know how we are, man. We out here BSing. It's good. Yeah, right. But it's coming with adult consequences later. Because of the little boy. Because of the little boy. And if you look back on some of the things you've done in your life, that little boy has caused you a lot of trouble. It's put you in a lot of trouble. That some of you are having a long time to fix. A long time. I need you guys to understand. Cut the cycles before they become your legacy. Some of you got seeds out there. You got little ones. Do not pass what you hate. Don't Do not pass on that. Please don't pass what you hate. Your pain has already taken enough. Your pain has already taken so much of your life. Your pain has taken so much of your future. Your pain has taken so much of things, of opportunities and relationships and so many things in your life. Why would you keep letting your pain take more? Why would you keep letting your pain take more of it? Well, and I gotta operate from my pain. And I remember Dwayne Johnson and all these guys would say that. But guess what? After a while, you're not dealing with that pain. And it's just gonna keep taking you over. So you're going to keep using that pain as your reference point for everything? You're going to keep using that? So, man, this is going to make me work harder. That's going to keep being your reference point 30 years later? And the reason why I want you to cut the cycle of that anger, that pain, because it's taking too much. Because the thing is, it doesn't get to take your family also. That's what you don't want. You do not want that pain to take your family. So make peace with your past, not excuses for it. Peace gives power. Denial gives destruction. Peace gives you power. Denial gives you destruction. And a lot of you are in deep denial. That's why everything is being destroyed around you. So if you don't heal that boy at any time in your life, you will bury the man. I don't care how successful you look on the outside. You will bury that man. But if you face that child, you become a threat to every generational curse that was supposed to own your name. You're supposed to be the alcoholic. You're supposed to be the addict. You're supposed to be the abuser. Because your mom's was the abuser, your dad was the abuser, your uncles were the abuser. The person who violated you, they were the abuser. So you become the person now who do the same thing and take advantage of people. No, if you truly face that little hurt boy inside, you deal with him, you become the threat to every generational curse. So now your son, your daughters, whoever in your life, your nieces, your nephews, do not carry this on. Are you willing to face the little boy? Gentlemen, thank you for rocking with me. This one is a hard hitter, but it's needed. And what is that little boy that you're trying to hide from? Who is he? What has he dealt with? If you feel good about doing this, if you feel calm and cool about it, put it in the comments. I would like to hear from you. And fellas, remember, whether you win or lose, the fight is never over. It is only the next round. I'm Anthony. I'm going to catch you on the next one, y'all. Peace.